Okay, there's your sunrise. Contrail. Yeah, there's been a bunch of those lately. The other day you looked between the clouds and that's all you saw. Oh, I just absolutely love these days. We were like 85 yesterday. And this morning, we're like 40. Phone says we're like 45, but it feels 41. And the monitor in the house says we're 42. So that must mean it feels about 37, right? That's the way my math works anyway. Close enough. It's early. Let's see. Getting Gracie's garage. Mike asked about how the mower worked. If it was like a lawnmower or what. I was going to show this when we had it in the shop, but I can show it right now. There it is, Mike. And that's kind of how I figured the knives would be. We put a lot of wear on them for what we cut. New knives are coming, but they're... won't see them till next week. Otherwise, we'd change them now. Well, we got a little time left on them. They're not that bad. Oh, there we go. This just got so much crap. I don't want to get a little slop there, but you gotta have a little. So, I think our issue is to the U-joint. That's a short drive line, and the way they got the stupid thing made, you gotta actually take the end of the cutter bar off and drop it. Or you take 4 bolts out, and a belt off, and a bunch of other stuff off, and take the gearbox off from the top. Trust me, it's easier to put a jack under here and do it. Anyway, let's see if we get it turns that away, which brings everything in from the end. And these are all timed right to miss each other. And I don't remember how fast it spins. And that end one ends up spinning this direction to bring everything in. And these are supposed to be, supposed to be free swinging. If they hit something, they bounce off, but they don't give for a lot of things. And these are supposed to help create a little bit of airlift for the crop to push it up so it goes in between those rolls. On this machine, I don't like those rolls. I really don't. We had conditioner on the 2 John Deere machines we had that was like a flail mower inside, but instead of being mower blades, they were just tines. They were V-shaped, like so, and pivoted so they swung. And they beat the stuff up, and that did a lot better job of getting it to dry down. Because you scuff the stems up and you break them up, and then moisture can get out of the stems. This is the old school way. It's supposed to squeeze it and crimp it. But, I don't know. I've just never been happy with the way this one lets it dry down. So anyway, Mike, there it is in a nutshell. Only wasted almost 4 minutes of everybody's day with that. I know, it's not a waste. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully somebody did. I know a few of you already know. And then it comes out the business end. That flap, if we want to make a narrow windrow, points up. If you want to lay it out flat, it puts down like it is. And you can see where it wears coming through and making a windrow. Which, if you've seen the videos, tends to fly out and land out there. And there's Blue this morning. Good morning, Blue. Morning, bud. Okay. We'll see what we get you. It is wet as out here this morning. Another freaking heavy dew. It's hard to dry hay in. And it bleaches it out. Oh, look. Another contrail coming. Not sure where he's headed. He's not on the same angle as they usually are to go to Seattle. Maybe he's going to Alaska. I don't know. Oh, I think the baby's coming in. Oh, if only we had smell-o-vision for you. Literally, just got set up, put the grinder in gear, went to turn her over, it didn't want to turn. Then it started turning. It didn't smell. The darkness stripe, that's fur. I'm not going to pull that screen back to show you what's there. There ain't no blood and stuff, but I don't know what it was. Something went in there. And quite frankly, it fucking stinks. So I was going to get her some rubber gloves and we'll find a bucket. Because no matter what, that's got to come out of there. We got to make feed. Oh, I didn't need that this morning. My guts is churning. The dirty part of the job. Well, I run the tractor about 1200 RPMs for this. It takes a lot longer, but man, it's a lot less dust. Then we mixed our molasses and oil up a little different. Not as much water with it. See if we can keep fermenting up with having a bin like L1 was. I mean, it happens maybe once a year, and I don't know why. It's dry enough to begin with, the extra moisture shouldn't do it, but it seems to once in a while. I don't know. But this is the first batch. It's way too late in the day. It's near 10 o'clock, and I wanted to get 2 batches done before that. Get a rake ready for Becky to go out and play. But it ain't gonna hurt, I guess. Let the ground that's exposed get a little drier. They must be behind on spreading their contrails. Looks like they're circling quite a bit. Yeah, I guess they gotta get their stuff into it one way or another. Crazy. And there she goes. Rather than scattering it, hey, cool, in a whirlwind following her, bringing it back toward me. Use a tedder rake and rake it, fluff it up, and mix the wet stuff in, let the mare through it, and move it over off the wet spot. Can't get it all the way off the wet spot, but kind of see in between those windrows, right against the windrow to the right, there's a strip that's really green. Yeah, that's the wet spot it's been sitting on. Get the ground to dry. That's one of the worst things. You know, last few years we've kind of been spoiled with that because the ground's been dry, and unfortunately it still didn't dry the hay down any quicker, but we didn't have to manage the moisture of the ground as much. Oh, we'll see how far she gets. Shit, it's 2 o'clock. My plan was to have her going at 10, but you know, we had a little issue with trying to grind feed. First batch, just between that, did everything. It went really slow. Second batch went really quick. Actually, had it full in right out of half an hour, which isn't too bad trying to feed it with the vacuum, because it's too easy to overload it, so you tend to go a little on the lighter side. And anyway, all that's done. She's going out here. Still gotta get the mower in the shop. Still gotta get the big baler hooked up, but I mean, it's gonna be a day or two, because I'm sure this stuff ain't gonna be ready tomorrow, especially out there where it's super wet, and that one, because it ain't been laying long enough. But anyway, get the mower in the shop and get a couple other things done, and let Becky have some fun out here and get her tan. She's been griping about wanting to get her tan going. And I'm out here and didn't put any sunblock on my arm, and it's really starting to hurt. It ain't burnt, but the nerves are so screwed up for when I did burn the hell out of my arm that, yeah, it hurts. It feels like something going on inside, like somebody breaking the bone in two or something. Gotta love it. One of my typical days all over the frickin' place. Now that drive line right there is what I'm hoping is the issue. They don't hold up. They're too straight for the U-joints to work properly. And we shoved that piece of PVC pipe in there to try to keep the shit from trying to take the seal out of the gearbox. Why? Because the engineers are so effing smart, they get plugged up in there. I mean, you do 50 acres and you spend 2 hours. Hey, you don't need to lift it. You don't need to lift the whole machine. You just need a jack under it. Stuff goes right up past it, gets into the seal. And, you know, John Deere had a better setup that we improved years ago, and I don't know what they have now, but I don't like this setup. It sucks.
Yeah, I spent an hour digging the shit out of it.
Anyway, we're going to see if we can get that apart and see, and it kind of looks like one of those might be a little scooched. I know it's not good. It was stiff when we put it back together end of last summer. But the neat thing is, it's not like you can just change the U-joints. It's all it is. There's no CV joint in it. It's just U-joints. But the problem is, the top yoke is splined, and by the time the U-joints are bad, the spline's shot. So, and
nope.
Yeah, it used to be Greasy Paws. Was it Getting Gracie's Garage now, I think? Mike, whatever it is. Apologize if I'm wrong, but these spin just like a lawnmower, except instead of having a full blade, it's just the end. And there's, I think I showed you yesterday, they're supposed to be free to swing, but you see all that shit right there? That's all packed in there. The fun about our grass. You know, some of them will move. That one's not too bad. But anyway, they freely swing. Thought I had a little other movement on that. That one's got a little bit. That ain't too bad. They'll do that. Pine Sedge Farm, you ask how our slop was. It's pretty much equal all the way down. That's about what it's always been since new. And yes, we have replaced a couple of these gearboxes. When you hit things that don't move, would we replace most of the turtles once?
Yes.
And all the knives at the same time, because destroyed all the knives.
Dad will have to show you the turtles that I make out of those.
Oh, she's made some scrap metal stuff with them.
Turtles.
They're somewhere on here. Since they're called turtles, she made turtles with them.
Right up here on the thing.
One of these days we'll get you a shot of that. Anyway, for right now, I'm going to remind her how this comes apart. Well, there's what Ty found there. That don't help a bit. Shit gets up underneath them. Puts a lot more load on it. There's that. Crap stuck up in there around the guard. Around the tin.
And there was pieces up into the spine.
And pieces up the shaft up toward the seal, which is typical. They ought to make it easier to get into. You can take that son of a bitch apart once in a while and clean it. Because we've done this, God, we've done it every 50 acres before. You know, so you cut 5 hours and spend 2 hours tearing the machine apart. Anyway, she's got a little work to do. She knows what to do. So she flips me off.